this is Mikael from Dark Tranquility, and you're watching Loud TV.
Let's go, guys. I'm again with Michael, the mighty Michael. Yeah.
Hey.
From Dark Tranquility. How you doing?
I'm doing very well. I'm happy. I'm at home doing tons of interviews today, talking to a lot of lovely people about our music, and it's pretty nice.
So, only bad feedback, I suppose?
Horrible. Such disappointment. No, it's been excellent.
After a fantastic Moment album, it's one of my favorites.
Oh, nice. Thanks.
Here is Endtime Signals, right?
Yeah.
Out this summer. I suppose Johan and Martin wrote most of the music on this record.
Yeah, exactly.
What was it?
It was. I mean, it was amazing because it was different. It was kind of new. The last two albums, Anders Giva wrote most of the material, and then we kind of worked on it and made it, all of ours. And then Martin wrote some, and Johan wrote some. And here, like I don't know, like it felt like a kind of like a new beginning, starting kind of fresh, doing something where there are no compromises. I think we're very much on the same page when it comes to what this album should be. We knew what we wanted to accomplish, like emotionally, and what kind of vibe we wanted to project, and we wanted to really make sure that we use all these new musicians in the band. Like new drummer Joakim is amazing, and Christian on bass is fantastic, and of course kind of like show off kind of Johan's kind of skills as well. So it was kind of like, how do we do that, but also maintaining this sound of ours that we've been cultivating for 30 plus years, so it was of course a challenge, but I think it was joyous in the sense that we it's a kind of like a clean slate. It wasn't, of course, but it kind of felt like it, and I think that really benefited the album and the way that it came out, because Martin writes very differently, and he thinks kind of like ahead, where a melody gets hinted at first, and then it kind of arrives, whereas the two latest albums have been very direct, whereas this, I think, has kind of like a more moody, more I don't know, like more elegant in terms of its melodics. So it was a challenge as always. You doubt yourself every single second as you're sitting there writing, trying to put out something that will hopefully stand the test of time. But I could not be more proud and happy about how it ended up, and we all felt kind of that sense of relief when it's like, it worked. We we pushed through, and it we got there in the end, but exciting and different for many reasons.
Johan has brought killer death metal riffs.
Yes,
we know where it comes from, like drawn out voices or enforced perspective.
I mean, he's always had that, but it's, so when he has written stuff before, we have kind of, changed it a little bit and turned it more into like what Dark Tranquility is. And here we said like, oh, well, let's run with it and add something else to it, not just add a melody to it or whatever, but something else. So I think that, and also like use that as a springboard for the next section in a song or something like that. I think that was amazing, and I'm really happy that it's a more kind of guitar forward album than perhaps before in terms of riffing.
Yeah, the most challenge I suppose for you, Michael, is how to respect the Dark Tranquility story 30 years plus, and without previous musicians. how to keep the engine and how to keep the, I would say, the philosophy of Dark Tranquility.
Yeah. No, but I think that's still very strong with me and Martin. Martin has been producing and the last 4 or 5 albums, more or less. So he has a very clear vision of what goes in and doesn't fit in. But also, I mean, like we still have Nicholas, who I started the band with. He's very much involved. He knows everything that we do. He listens to all the songs that we write, and he even wrote some stuff for this album. Martin, who was the original bass player, who's played guitar up until 10 years ago, he's with us all the time as well. Listens to all the stuff that we do, and we talk every single day. And he takes care of all the office work and all the stuff around us. Basically, our manager. And Nicholas is our visual designer. So it's still kind of like, for me, it's the same people. Easy to kind of stay on the right path, so to speak, and not veer away too much. But it's amazing to always have everybody still there, even though the people on stage, the people who actually record the stuff is somewhat new.
So it's a team. Dark Tranquility is a team with old and new members.
Yeah. And I really like that. It's everybody kind of stays in, you don't fully leave,
One of my favorite song is One of Us Is Gone. I was wondering if it's a reference to Fredrik Johansson, maybe, who passed away. You made a wonderful tribute to him at Élysée Montmartre in Paris.
Oh yeah.
You almost cried, and it was a really special moment.
It was still pretty fresh then. I mean, it was 2 years ago since he passed away, and in fact, like much like Martin and Nicholas, that he's always been kind of involved in what we do, and he comes to the shows, he listens to all the stuff that we do, and has he goes like, oh, I didn't really like that song, or this is good, like more of this please, that kind of stuff. He's always been there. So during the time when he was struggling with his cancer, like he wrote a lot. He just spent a lot of time just like doing anything that he could come up with, to kind of pass the time and to kind of get his thoughts straight, or away from, his illness and so he wrote a lot of material that he gave to us, and he said, like, if you want to use it, that's fine. If you don't, it's okay, but it's there. I'm not gonna do anything with it, And so we knew that we were gonna do a song based on his music, and for the longest time. So that kind of influenced kind of the writing process of the album, knowing that there will be a song there that is written by him, but also made by us as a tribute to him, and how he faced his struggle and how it affected us, So that became the last song that we wrote or finished on the album, and because it was just the hardest one. It's the one that you go like, okay, maybe next week we'll feel fine about it, and you procrastinate and you push it forward and forward. But eventually we got there, and I think Martin did a fantastic job kind of like scouring Fredrik's material and kind of making the most out of it, and taking like the essence of what he wrote and turned it into something really powerful. And it became like a very big production, very ambitious song with strings and
cello,
kinds of there's cello and there's violin, and so it became really emotional just to write it and to record it, and to kind of to finish it by the end was difficult. It was the last thing I sang for the album, and it felt like closure at the time, like, okay, we're done now. Now there's nothing more we can do now. Just leave it for someone else to mix this together, make sure it sounds okay. But it was it felt great once we were finished with it, and I'm really happy with the way that it came out. And I was glad to hear that Fredrik's brother and his wife really appreciated the song. I sent it to them first before I sent it to anyone else, and just to make sure that it's
all right,
appropriate.
Yeah. pretty hard stuff, but yeah, it's yeah, you sometimes you need courage to what you have on your mind and on your
Yeah,
heart.
and I guess we're old enough to be able to handle these things, and of course it doesn't get any easier. And but like for me, like music is a way to deal with your emotions and your feelings, and as a way to kind of get rid of some of the things that bothers you. And this, of course, is something that has been with us for years, and now getting something out of it, or making something out of all that grief has been helpful, you know.
So Endtime Signals, yeah, is it about the human extinction?
Not really, but I guess we did envision like you know, if we were to walk down this path where we are right now in the world, like where will it end up? And it didn't really look that bright, you know. And I guess I've always seen the upside in things and try to remain optimistic, but it's been harder and harder, you know, these last couple of years. And I think we have reflected on it as we are out touring, especially after COVID, you know, and you're back on the road, and all of a sudden, like the world just turns into a more hostile place, and wars break out, and our friends are, you know, devastated because of what is happening in parts of the world where we normally would play, you know, and we have played, and we have a lot of friends there, and all of a sudden, like you're in a tour bus having a good time and being on stage, like I don't know, it was weird to kind of reconcile feeling so helpless, but also kind of still trying to kind of do your job. And I don't know, like it really changed the way we viewed our music, I think, for me and Martin and Johan especially. And so coming back and starting to write this album was kind of like, how do we talk about this? How do we express how we feel through this album? And I think together with Niklas, who designed, of course, all the artwork, like we decided like maybe we create some kind of dystopian world, you know, but we tell it in a less hostile way. So the idea for the cover was to use this kind of Eastern European 50s puppetry and animation that I kind of grew up with, that I thought was evocative and cool and kind of scary, to kind of tell at least like the beginning of a story or the end of a story of something kind of dystopian. And so it's kind of like take some of the lyrics that get taken to logical end, so to speak. And I love when I send some lyrics to Niklas and he goes like, all right, I have an idea, and then we get into it, and that inspires more songs, and then that inspires more art, and then we kind of start talking about a title for the album. And that was one of those who kind of stuck with it. And it's kind of, yeah, it's kind of like the end, or you know, the last transmission of from planet Earth kind of thing. And I kind of like that feeling, you know, that evokes something, and you start thinking about it. And that's for me what a title of an album should do. You should look at the cover and you see the title and you go like, all right, I'm intrigued, you know, pulls you in.
Message in a bottle, right?
Oh yeah.
I would like to know, you have so many bands like the Halo Effect, Dark Tranquility. Now you have this amazing project with Century from
Yeah.
Amorphis.
Yeah.
I was lucky to know that when I met you at Olympia,
Oh yeah.
kind of secret.
Oh, yeah.
And
But
when I listen to the songs, it's again amazing. You know, it's
cool. Thank you.
so. How do you deal with all these projects? I mean, is it easy?
Yeah, I mean yeah, it can be tough. I mean, it wasn't like most of the stuff was planned and written during the pandemic, where time was infinite for a short period of time, right? So that made it easy to kind of get off the ground and started. But then now that everybody's back in business again, and everybody's busy, all of a sudden, like it's been hard for me to have time, especially on tour. You have to kind of make tons of decisions and stuff, everything from artwork to tour plans and mixes and all that stuff. So it's so much fun that it's all worth it, but sometimes I go like, ooh, did I say yes to too many things? But at the same time, I like to be busy, and I love the people that I've get to work with, and it's been so interesting, and I've learned so much just by working with other people. I've never done that for the first more than 25 years of the band. Like, we never kind of reached out. We were the same guys doing the same thing, and so writing music and songs together with others has been eye-opening, and I've learned more than I think I know, or that I can appreciate yet. But it's been great. But yeah, time is an issue, of course.
So you're on tour with the Halo Effect with Spain. It's
yeah,
a great Bataclan.
That's gonna be cool.
Yeah, sure. And going to, of course, to tour again with Dark Tranquility with your friends from Amorphis in the USA.
Yes.
What a great package, right? Always, it's always a great package.
Yeah, we've done it before with them in the US, so it's going to be great to do that again. And then we come home for a couple of weeks, and then we go to the European tour starts together with Moonspell. So
it was the mighty Moonspell, one of my favorites. It's like kind of Disneyland for me, because when those motherfucking, see one of my favorite band ever on tour together. It's like with Amorphis, it was amazing,
Yeah, I agree. I that's what I love, and it's great friends, who we just realized that we have a lot in common, of course, but also we become great friends over the years. So it's like, it makes perfect sense to tour, and we have a similar audience, so it's a great package, especially in these days where everybody's out on tour.
Will you tour with your project with Century?
I don't know. The album is not out yet, and but we have some offers for festivals and stuff. I have a hard time seeing us touring. Depends. Let's see how the album is received, and if we have time. But I hope we don't do too much. I'll be happy just doing cool festivals and special shows here and there. We're doing one show this summer in John Smith Festival in Finland, and nice. I'm already very nervous about it.
Is it hard to remind all the lyrics from all your projects?
It's a little bit.
Yeah, do you read them before, or?
Yeah. I have to rehearse and kind of get back into it. So that can be difficult. Like, but most of the time, I mean, it's songs that are kind of fresh in my memory. It's actually harder sometimes to pick up old Dark Tranquility stuff that we haven't played in 10, 15 years. Like, what the hell was I thinking? So that's sometimes even harder. But yeah, it's a lot to have in mind. But so far it's okay. But if I screw up, don't judge me too hard.
When you think about lyrics, do you remind some specific moments in your life on each song?
Yeah, you mean like older songs? For sure. Yeah, that's part of the fun. Actually, we are right now kind of talking about the set list for the upcoming tours and festivals, and we're picking some songs that we just haven't played, very few times, or if ever. And it's great to listen to it again and go like, I'm trying to remember the lyrics and kind of realize, like, what the hell was I thinking back then? What went through my mind? Like, why did I write this and that? And sometimes it brings you right back and you remember immediately, like, oh yeah, that was rough, or that was a weird part of my life, or whatever it may be. But I really like that. That's one of the highlights of doing it. And then on stage, you can see that, if people who are into those old songs kind of get it, and they maybe have the same vibe, you know, or feeling or memory of that song. That that's a highlight. I'm looking forward to this. We're doing some crazy set lists in the future that I'm very excited about.